Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperluck, and this is City of Heroes soloing the Stalker. We're level 38 and about to hit level 39. And before we do that, we're still working on the Terra Conspiracy. Got to defeat 20 Devouring Earth. Let's see, we can find them in Founders Falls. Oh, right, Founders Falls, right? Don't they have them over there? I think they do. I'll see if I can grab them over there. If they are, it should be easy to get 20 of them. If not, I know they have them in Talos Island. And I know they have them in the Independence Port near Terra Volta. But I think they have them over here in the tree area here. Yeah. Oh boy. Boss? Lieutenant? Oh, just one boss. I thought there was a couple of them. Let's probably take this guy out first. So guys, one of the things I wanted to say, and let me just take a quick check. Raging Brawler made a comment January 19th. I'm seeing it. Today is January 19th, but I'm replying to it now because I'm way ahead on making these videos. And made a great comment. So what Raging Brawler said in the comment, we're talking about whether, I guess I was talking about whether, it's good to solo with Stalkers, and that, some folks maybe say no, or don't put them at the top of the tier list if you want to make a tier list, or, that kind of thing. And what Raging Brawler said was it's sometimes hard to judge early on if you're a new player because when you're low level, you're doing plus zeros. Well, anybody can fight plus zeros. A defender can do that. A controller can do that. Anybody can do that. It's when the Stalker is soloing plus twos with no problem that you see how good they are, right? And this actually brings up the point that what we got going on down here. Who are they throwing stuff at? The person who actually put them lower on the tier list, that person's way of playing, and we've leveled up. That's good. This way we can go to a mission. It'll give us the right mission level. He said his preferred way of playing is to play at plus 0, and if it gets too easy, he just ups it to ×2 or ×3, but keeps it at plus 0. And yeah, a Stalker isn't necessarily going to be all that much better at doing that than any other character class. What the Stalkers are really good at is all of the stuff that's hard is made easier as a Stalker, right? So fighting swarms of plus zeros, anybody can do. It is not difficult. It might be faster as a blaster throwing AoEs than as a Stalker, but nobody's going to be threatened by swarms of plus zeros. Any character can handle that. The question is, can you handle a bunch of plus ones, plus twos, plus threes, as we see this character can do? And then the other question is, how do you handle the difficult situations? Oh, look, I like these guys setting up little swarms because they're going to be easy to defeat, and they'll count as defeating Devouring Earth. We only have 2 more to do, and that should be these guys. So, yeah, things like dealing with hostages, dealing with various aspects of missions that almost let you cheat, right? The Stalker can just, as I call it, stalk the mission. You can just go into the mission. If it says find these 3 glowies, you can just find the 3 glowies and walk out. You don't have to actually do the whole mission if you don't want. Now, I usually do most or all of the mission, but yeah, most of the time you're in an indoor mission. The indoor mission has narrow hallways and small rooms, and you have to walk close enough to the enemies, and they did this on purpose, that you're going to have to aggro them because there isn't any other way to get past them to get to the hostages. But a Stalker can just go to the hostage, defeat the 2 guys guarding the hostage, go to the next hostage, defeat the 2 guys guarding the hostage, go to the next hostage, defeat those 2 guys, and finish the mission. Oh, wait, before we do that, we got to level up. Okay, yeah, we'll just go to Talos Island instead of Brickstown, because the level up is closer to the railroad station. So yeah, I feel like one person in the comments said Stalkers are basically OP. I don't know if it's that, but like the Stalkers let you almost exploit the game. Now, it's not really an exploit because Stalkers were given the hide ability. But when you think about how many missions say defeat all, well, the reason so many of them do is because a lot of them didn't in the past. But it was just defeat a boss. You didn't even have to defeat the guys around the boss. It was just defeat the boss. And the reason they could do that is because they knew that you're going to have to fight through the whole mission to get to the bosses at the bottom of the 5-level dungeon anyway, right? But if you're a stalker, you could just run to the bottom of the 5-level dungeon, kill the one boss, and mission complete, right? And stalkers were just blazing through missions without any risk, really, and that's why some of them say defeat all on them now, right? But if they don't, the stalker can still kind of do that. You just have to kill the boss and all the guys around him. All right, now we have to think a little bit. 3 slots. I definitely think we want to finish Siphon Life. Siphon Life is now done. I like finishing things when we get close. I want to get Overload Recharge going, but I think we need another Endurance Reducer and Focus Accuracy. I'm not sure it's worth it. Overload's got a 16-minute recharge. 16-minute? I thought I had it on 10. Well, we'll have to look when we get out, but I think like the problem is no matter what we do, we're never going to get down under 7 or 8 minutes. So it's not like we can ever use it right away again. I feel like we're going to be better off adding some damage to Midnight Grasp. And now we can go to the base. So yeah, I mean, there are certain circumstances under which Stalkers really shine. And the thing is, I tend to like to bump my mission difficulties up in level rather than numbers of enemies I fight, and Stalkers really shine doing that. I mean, I would have said, if somebody asked me that I had to pick one, if you said you can only make one archetype S tier for soloing, which would you pick? As much as it would pain me, Scrapper Lock, to do, I wouldn't pick Scrappers as much as I love them. I would say Stalkers. Okay, we need a damage, so let's create that. We need endurance reduction, so let's create that. And then we need a heal, which we don't have in our inventory, but we do have over here, I believe. Do we not? We don't. Actually, we don't have a heal. Interesting. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and pop our endurance reducer on here. This now cuts focus accuracy down to 0.22 a second, which is not too far out of line with the 0.19 a second over here. And we're going to do extra damage to Midnight Grasp, which is now going to bring it up to doing 205 damage per shot. We don't need any of these. Wait, wrong place. We're going to sell. Pop, pop, pop. And wow, we really don't have a heal. I thought we had one over here. But I guess not. I mean, we have things like Doctored Wounds and stuff. I mean, I could throw that something like that on there. But yeah, I could have sworn. Well, I guess we don't. All right, let's go ahead and craft the ones we can make. Just to get this stuff out of my inventory. It clears some space in... I don't need to hit debuff. Recharge reduction is good. We'll go ahead and grab those. I may as well do... Oh, I can't do the run or that one. Okay. So the rest of these are of no use. And we'll just pop these in here. So what you can see is happening now, and this is for our future characters, really, right, is that we might use some of these recharges, but this is for future characters. I now have a whole bunch of accuracies, a whole bunch of damage, a whole bunch of endurance reducers, flight, immobilization duration, don't really need that, a bunch of recharges, and a bunch of resistances. So when we do our next character, when we do our next character, hang on. Is that what I wanted? Ah, so somebody pointed out if you pin this, it'll go back to the old way. Excellent. That's what I like. Thank you for that. So the idea is next character won't have to craft as many enhancements because they'll already be there. Now, of course, they'll have to craft the level 31s because there aren't a lot of those in, and there never will be a lot of those in the table because you kind of tend to use those. And then by the time you're high enough level that you don't need things and you can start leaving them in the table, you're getting level 35s and 40s. We're going to Brickstown. Okay. All right, so we're level 39. Focused accuracy, we should be better off on the endurance on that. And our endurance has been pretty decent. I mean, because of this thing. If that thing wasn't there, I'd be complaining about the endurance a lot more. But, you know, because with low endurance and with our triple slotted stamina, we're doing pretty well. I think that we might be okay with it just on double endurance reducers and not have to do triples. I would like to slot at least 1 to hit debuff on it, or to hit buff on it, but we'll just see how many slots we have because our priority now is going to be slotting overload at least. So overload, we can now look at it. Overload is at 12 minutes of recharge. That's weird. I thought it was on 10. Huh. So that's why I screwed things up. Because when I hit overload, I thought it was at 10 minutes and that it was going to go down at 7. And instead it's been going down around 8 or 9, and that's why. It doesn't speed up. It doesn't increase our recharge rate. Okay. Alright, well that's good to know. Oh, thank you for this, whoever said pin this. Oh, so much better to go back to the old way. I figured there had to be. Usually, not always, but usually when they make UI changes in COH and the Homecoming devs have stuck to that tradition, they do enable you to go back to the old way if you like the old way better. It's just like with like the group interface, which I absolutely hate. Oh, what happened? Oh, you know what? We're not going to be able to get +2 missions because our this contact caps out at level 40 or level 39. So they can do +1, I guess, but they can't do +2 maybe. Right, it's only level 40. Shame. Oh, maybe because we were in the middle. So we did a street hunt and then went straight into a mission. Right, so maybe that's why it did it. So maybe on the next mission it'll bump us up. I hope it doesn't leave us on +1s the whole time because that's going to be pretty weak. Like, we really should be fighting more +3s anyway. So now, since we have our accuracy endurance reduced a little bit more, we're going to just leave focused accuracy on and see how it goes. If I can leave it, I'm going to drag it over here if I don't need to turn it off. But I'll probably make that determination over the course of quite a while. Because focus accuracy, I always worry about that because it is a pretty big endurance drain. We might, with this character, possibly have enough slots. I often don't have enough, but we might have enough slots to triple endurance reduce focused accuracy. And then it'll be down to like +18 or something. That's about the best you can do on it, which basically gets it to the same level as all the other toggles you have. There's still 1, 2, 3. Well, we don't count that. Doesn't count coast interest. 1, 2, 3, 4 toggles. It's not too bad. That's about what my martial arts super reflex runs, right? She runs 3 defense toggles, and then in whichever servers change practice brawler to a toggle, that's a 4th toggle, and I was able to do it. And then I think she even had focused accuracy, but I didn't run. I couldn't run it. I couldn't run it all the time because, again, you can't run 5 toggles. Like, you can run 5 toggles, but it's super hard on the endurance. Midnight Grass should be doing a lot more damage now. I mean, that thing, once it's triple damage enhanced, where it's doing whatever is 300 per hit, it's almost like having a second Assassin Strike. It does so much damage. I like Midnight Grasp, and I do like that it doesn't immobilize, but I remember saying with my my Brute, it's almost pointless because it does so much damage, you're going to just defeat the thing so fast anyway that there's almost no need to have an immobilize on it because it's just going to kill them. Man. It's insane that even with focus accuracy running, those guys only at +1 can still drop me to 67% or 68% to hit. It's ridiculous. No, I didn't mean to control click that. Yeah, so one of the things, and I think I mentioned this, we mentioned this, we talked about the debuffs and stuff. One of the problems with City of Heroes, actually, and I don't know that they can ever actually solve it, even if the Homecoming devs want to try to, because I think it's just so baked into this basic way City of Heroes was designed and the way the villains were designed. So many villain abilities in COH are basically all or nothing, right? Either they have defense and you can't hit them, or they don't have defense and you hit them all the time. There aren't a lot of abilities that just reduce your chance to hit. It's so all or nothing, right? It makes it very swingy. So like these guys, I have a 95% chance to hit them, and then you fight one of these bedrocks, right? And you're down to like 60%, right? And it might seem like, well, that's a little thing, but in this game, 60% means you're whiffing constantly, right? And it just seems like there's such big changes. You think about like the quartz, literally gives them 95% to hit me, right? And you have to ask yourself, why does it need to be that swingy? And I don't know the answer to that, although we do know that if it wasn't that swingy, it would be even easier, and you'd be needing to put it on +10. So I love City of Heroes, but I think there is kind of an inherent flaw in the game in that so much of the attack and defense buffs and the bonuses and everything else are like they add such huge numbers to the existing number that it really is very much like an all or nothing circumstance that makes it, you know, with the power on, right, with build up or focus chi or whatever on, you never miss. With it off, you don't hit, right? And yeah, I think it might have been better if they had made it a little more subtle, but I think that part of the problem was the decision to do like 3 minions per hero, right? The individual minions are so weak that if they didn't have some sort of an amazing buff, they wouldn't be able to do anything to you at all. But if they had made the minions more powerful, then it would be 1 hero to 1 minion, right? Which they didn't want to do because that's the way most MMOs were, right? That you could only fight 1 enemy at a time. If you were lucky, you could fight one-on-one. Most of the time, you needed a group to take on each monster that was your level. Right? I remember that happening in, I can't remember which fantasy game it was now. Maybe it was Vanguard, where I'm facing a monster that was my level, and I couldn't beat it. And when I complained about it, one of my friends was like, "Well, dude, this is a classic MMO. If it's like something at your level means a group of you at that level can defeat it." And I was so used to City of Heroes that felt wrong to me, right? But in COH, we're fighting groups of enemies because we're superheroes. They wanted you to feel super heroic, and we do. But I think that means when the villains get a defense to turn on or a debuff to give you, they had to make it so strong that it led to these very swingy encounters where if the villain turns on whatever buff it is, you can't hit them, and if they don't turn it on, you just own them. Nothing against the game. You know, I'm not trying to criticize the game. I'm just saying I feel like this is one of the things that's sort of baked into City of Heroes that there's almost no way to avoid. You'd have to redesign the entire game in order for that not to be the case. All right, now we're looking for Tanya, and I don't know if this is the one where she's going to be turning green. She's turning into a devoured. We're going to eventually have to defeat her. Spoiler alert. Well, hopefully maybe the next mission will be able to do a higher level because this is too low. I mean, you can see it, right? And you know, how many times I've been back to the base and I have kept forgetting to put these bigger inspirations in the inspiration tray. By the way, guys, remember when I said that one of the things I was talking about how gamers always find something to argue about, and that one of the things I found that has been argued about is whether you should clip the corners of counters to make them rounded like this instead of having them be square like this here. And there are whole tools that you can use. They're not meant for counter clipping. They're meant for clipping like business cards and stuff if you want to have them rounded for whatever reason. But you can use them on gaming counters. And so I mentioned it to this good friend of mine who's like this old school D&D gamer. And he said, why would you do that? That's mutilating the counter. That's like mutilating the game piece. He said, I bet you wouldn't be able to resell it. I said, I don't know. Some people like them and some people don't. We just found a little bit of a clue there. So I showed him a photo of before and after. I actually thought the corner-edged piece looked quite nice. And he said, that looks terrible. They mutilated it. And so I was just chuckling. And yep, there's our level 40 contact there. But we're going to continue. Can we get a higher mission? Oh, come on. It's 39. All right, guys. We're going to try to whip through this as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I didn't do these story arcs fast enough. And these contacts cannot give us higher missions, I guess. Yeah, it's on level +2. So I was thinking I could put it on level +3, but I don't think it's going to do anything because 39 is not +2 to begin with. Yeah, so he was saying, oh, you're mutilating it, right? And then he said if somebody wants to buy it, then it's not like near mint anymore. And I said, buddy, by removing the counters from the counter sheets, it's no longer near mint, right? If you want like somebody who wants a like new box, they're going to want it shrink wrapped. And if it's not shrink wrapped, you better not have opened up the rule book and folded the pages back. You better not have taken the counters out of the counter sheets. If the counters have been removed from the counter sheets, whether they're rounded or not may not matter that much. Okay, okay, it fixed it. We are at +2. That's good. I'm going to go up. Face these guys up here first. Again, my rule of thumb, try to do the higher up parts because the enemies tend to look down more than they look up. But it's really funny because then as I was looking at this stuff, the one person was showing you know, the right way, as it were. He had an instruction video on the right way to remove the counters from the counter sheets, and he said one of the reasons people have to round the corners is because they don't remove the counters carefully enough from the counter sheets. And he said, and I'm thinking this is what I used to do, okay? He said what they do is they take them, right, and they punch them out, They just stick their thumbs in there and they punch them so they all fall out, and then they rip them up. They just like separate them from each other. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's how I did it. But he said, no, you shouldn't do that, right? What you should do, according to this guy, is um, you should get a like an X-Acto knife or something. He had one of these like rolling cutters. It almost looks like a pizza cutter, but it's for crafts and stuff. And he said, yeah, you roll it along the edges nice and carefully to separate, you know, the the counters from the actual, you know, bits of the cardboard that they're stuck to. And you know, it reminded me of when you have a plastic model kit and you have to separate the pieces from the sprues, as they call it, which are the things that it's all stick to because of the injection molding process. And I thought, yeah, I never would have just yanked them off. When I was a kid, I always used a knife to cut. Well, when I was a little kid, obviously I yanked them off. But as I got older, by the time I was like in junior high, I've always used like an X-Acto knife or whatever to cut the model pieces from the sprues rather than to just rip them off, because you could damage them, right? And well, the same thing for the cardboard counters. When I was a kid, or you know, even in high school or whatever, just playing those war games, I don't think I cared about that. Like, I really didn't care if the counters were like a little bit jagged on the end. Like, what difference does it make? It's just a cardboard piece. But of course, if you're going to pay what they now call, I mean, I don't remember what they charged for Victory games and Avalon Hill games back in the day, but I can't imagine that my mother ever bought me $100 boxed game. And she bought me some of these games, and they are $100 and up these days, some of them. You're going to pay $100 for a game, at least for me. If I'm going to pay $100 for a game, I'm going to make sure that it stays in really nice condition. So yeah. But it's just really interesting how different gamers kind of are interested in different things and get worked up about different things. And the one I was looking at, so one of the things I'm trying to do, because I'm an insane person, is I've been trying to trying to build like a want list of games that I want to try, and also I want to have a record of the games that I do have and the ones that I've played and how many times I've played them, again because I'm a psychopath and because this, you know, we gamers, you know, especially people who are like war gamers and stuff, we're kind of like spreadsheet people, and in a sense the game pieces are almost like little miniature spreadsheets. The gaming tables are spreadsheets where that you use to like figure out if you hit or not, and I mean, like, you're basically playing a spreadsheet. And we kind of like the stats and the numbers, and I like stats anyway. It's part of my job, so I definitely want to pay attention to that stuff. But I was trying to figure out how am I going to organize it. Do I want to make like an Excel spreadsheet? I hate Excel, but also it doesn't present well. It's not clean, you know. It's tables and stuff. Tables are fine, but sometimes you want images and that stuff. And so I figured, well, I've got this Obsidian Vault. If you've never used Obsidian, it's sort of a OneNote like note-taking app, that's way better than OneNote. And it's free. It's really cool. I love it. It's very powerful, and you can use scripts with it and data tables and all this stuff. And I thought, I can do that, right? So I started working on making an Obsidian table for all of the like games that I think I would like to get, and tracking that and stuff. And so I in Obsidian you can put properties on files that will enable you to sort them and stuff. So one of the properties I tagged the files with, it used to be you do all this with tags, but now they have actual data properties that you can use. So one of the properties I decided, you know, to tag with was the scale of the game, right? And by this I meant, like, are we talking about small unit tactics like squads of men? And in the military, at least in the United States, squads are 8 to 10 men, something like that, maybe 12 men. Then the next level up is the platoon, which is several squads, usually 30 or 40 guys, right? Then there's the company, which is several platoons, usually 4 or 5 platoons, so it's like 150 to 200 guys. Then there's the battalion, which is usually 1,000 men, several companies, and then there's the regiment, which is usually several battalions. Classically in the U.S., it's 200 men per company, at least in World War II, Korean War era. 200 men per company, 100, 5 companies or 1,000 men per battalion, 3 battalions or 3,000 men per regiment, and then the regiments might be organized into a brigade, which would be usually 2 regiments as a brigade, something like that, or maybe 3 regiments as a brigade, and then a division used to be about 20,000 men. Whoops, forgot to change off of Super Jump. 21,000 men, basically 6 regiments in a division plus a couple of extra battalions for support. Right, so you'd have like 6 combat regiments and then 2 support battalions that are maybe a small regiment, or maybe they just answer directly to whoever commands the division. And then divisions might be arranged into a corps of 2 or 3 divisions, which would be about 60,000 men. Marine Corps is different. Marine Corps, I think, does 10,000 man divisions, and 5 divisions is the entire Marine Corps. And then and the Marine Corps is usually organized into corps. I don't know if armies are. I guess they do. Army Corps of Engineers. Then you have an army, which is several corps. So might be 100,000 or 150,000 men, and then you might have several armies joined into an army group. Not every country uses these designations, or all of them. So some use brigades and not regiments and that sort of thing. And so what I wanted to do was keep track of, okay, how many, like what scale are we looking at? Are we looking at squads? Are we looking at regiments? What? So I said I want to name them, and so I named them, and then I thought, okay, well, how would you categorize them, right? Like squad versus company versus platoon. And so this one guy created a chart where he said, okay, the tactical level would be squads and platoons. The grand tactical level would be companies, let's say. Then the operational level would be battalions and regiments and stuff. And then the strategic level would be divisions, something like that. And it was a really cool chart. He made a graphic. I actually copied it and pasted it into my Obsidian file so I could use it. And then I was reading the thread where this appeared, and they were arguing about it. And the one person said, well, that's really for World War II. Things are different if you use different wars. It's really more like this stupid runner. More like the Allies in World War II used this. If you're Germans, they used a different system. If you're the Japanese, they used a different system, right? And so the Russians use a different system. And then if you're looking at like Napoleonic era, they use a totally different system, and so on and so forth. And so they were arguing about what's the best way to do it, what's the best way. And then they started talking about, well, if you're really talking about scale, if you're talking about like operations or something, whether it's tactics versus operations versus strategy, well, really that should be talked about at the scale of time, right? So if you're modeling one day or something like that, you're modeling tactics. If you're modeling several days, have we been seen? Yes. If you're modeling several days, then you're modeling like a week or something, then you're modeling operations. And if you're modeling like a month-long campaign, you're modeling strategy. And so why did I bring this up? Because they were arguing about what's the right way to do this, right? What's the right way to categorize things? And the one guy quoted the other guy and said, "Gamers, I love gamers. They'll argue about anything." And I thought, oh yes, because those arguments are very similar to the arguments about, well, is this guy better at this type of archetype, better at soloing than that archetype? Is it better to do ×4 missions or +2 missions? Is it better to put your sets in this power or that power? Which sets are the best sets, etc. It's really fun that gamers of all types, like there's just a gamer archetype, and whether you're running whether you're playing a role-playing game, or whether you're playing a war game, or whether you're playing a sports game, I feel like gamers are gamers, and we argue about these things, and there's just no way to stop it, because I think we love the game. We love the experience of the game. We like thinking about the game. We get interested. We get passionate about it. The only bad thing is that sometimes you get into obnoxious fights about it, and that's the part that it would be better if we don't do. What is this guy saying? I play as a super strong, fiery brute. Is it in character for me to feel a little too giddy about gaining access to fireballs and the like at level 35, or am I just really a pyro and need help? You're a pyro and need help. I think. That's okay. It's City of Heroes. Defeat all DE in the lab. All right, we are at 35 minutes. This will probably take another 20 or so, maybe more. But I think since we're fairly early, we will do one more. But let's try to save some time and just do this. So we go to Steel Canyon. I mean, Fireball is a darn cool power the way they have the special effects done in this game. I would say be excited about it. I always get excited about cool new powers. So many of the powers in COH have great special effects. Sound effects, visual effects, all of it. Animations, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so again, my rule of thumb, up first, down second. Oops, if I can actually land where I'm supposed to land. And that's because I have super jump on. Good thing I noticed that. So we're going to orbit the room upstairs. The downstairs guys probably won't see me. And then we're going to go down and take the sentry out because he's going to put up a cairn, which I hate. So there you go. That's the sentry. Oh, did he see me? He did see me. Okay. That's bad. He put up the cairn. That's unfortunate. The main problem is he's going to keep putting it up now. Got him? Got him. Before he could put it up again. Oh no, he did put it up again. Which means, look at this guy's not taking hardly any damage. It gives huge amounts of resistance. So we're going to have to pull him out of there. Come on out. I'm not fighting you in there. And I keep forgetting to go back to the base and put these away. Hopefully I won't need to use them in this mission. I mean, if I need them, I need them, but... But one thing to pay attention to in City of Heroes, I haven't actually mentioned this at all, but I've been using it as I've been playing. The villains in City of Heroes, the NPCs, when they're not, when they don't know you're there, they kind of are in a what I call a relaxed posture. You can see them over here. They might be threatening. I'm going to show you this. They might be, well, I won't show you with the sentry, but they might be threatening. But generally, if they don't see you, right, they're going to be in sort of a relaxed posture. If they see you, they will like sort of get into like this alert posture. And that's how you know you've been spotted. So a few times, I've realized that my hide wasn't engaged because they got into an alert posture. So if you pay attention, I'll try to show it to you later, but I don't want to do it with the sentry. If you pay attention, you can definitely see it. What I'm going to try to do is I'll take the guys out upstairs, and then I'll show you the alert posture, hopefully with the guys who have the hostage, the technician. So let's take care of the guys upstairs, and then I'll show you the alert posture. I guess I could have done it with the guys upstairs, but we're hidden now, so whoops. So we'll just take these guys out, and then we'll show you. So the endurance has been okay. It's been a little bit rough. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's fine. I don't know if I'm going to, at 40, if I'm going to immediately put another enhancement slot on it. I think I want to finish Midnight Grasp and probably maybe get another recharge on Overload. I'm not entirely sure about that. We don't use it that much. As a Stalker, I don't expect to use it except against like elite bosses and stuff. Or in case we maybe over aggro a bunch of +3s, we might need it. But it's usually up when I need it. Alright, so here we go. So I want to show you guys this. So this is them normally, right? They're just kind of standing there, maybe threatening her or whatever. When they see me over here, see how they get alert? And then they start to attack you. Right? So they definitely change their posture. And unfortunately, they just attacked immediately, but there is sort of, if you keep an eye on it, you'll see it from time to time when I walk down a hallway and I'm not hidden yet. They do this little alert posture where it's like they saw you, and you'll even, if you go back and watch some old videos, you'll hear me say, "Did they see me?" Yeah, they saw me. Let me see, is there anything else over here? I feel like we didn't get everything here, but it looks like we did. Because I know they aggroed me while I was up here. But I think we got everything. Okay. Because we have to defeat everybody. Let's take the Cairn out because I don't know if that's going to count. I don't think it does, but we can assassinate it. Do a lot of damage to it. I don't think the Cairn protects itself. No, it doesn't protect itself from the smashing damage. But I'm just trying to make... I don't want to have to come back through here. You guys have been with me on many episodes where I've missed one guy and not been able to find him. We're trying to make sure we go through here and cover every corner of the map so that we don't have to come back. Two technicians to save, and we're on the second level. There could be up to 5. There's another technician. Yeah, so if you're in the distance... Yeah, these guys are alright. See how they're just generically standing there animating? If you're in the distance... Who's attacking? Oh, these guys. Darn it. Yeah, I was trying to show you the alert and didn't work because these guys saw me. And there's a lot of them too. That's a big spawn. Shoot, I didn't mean to hit them. This one. There we go. Let's get some endurance. The nice thing is that they're, well, did I get them all? Yeah, the nice thing is that the rubbles will give you endurance, which is very nice. Oh, purple guy in there. Excellent. Come over here. Another deflection on this stupid little rubble. 80% chance to hit, and I still missed him twice. Alright, well, keep an eye on it. You'll see the alert posture at some point when I screw up. The game's not cooperating to show it. There, he just got alert right before he attacked me. Before he attacked me, you could see him kind of like stand up straight. It's like they stand up and they kind of look right in your direction. And so when I say, did they just see me? That's usually why. I've seen them go into an alert posture like that. I've never mentioned it. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it in any of my playthroughs, but that is what I'm using to tell whether they've seen me or not. And one of the things I'm doing with these guys is just go ahead and wait for Shadow Maul, because it can finish them off pretty well, or like close to finish them off. There's the alert. You see, he just turned to me before he attacked. Right? If you're far enough away that they don't immediately aggro to you, but they detect you, they go into that like alert posture. And then if you back out, you might be able to de-aggro them, but most of the time they aggro to you and you fight them. Oh boy, 2 sentries. I don't know if we'll be able to avoid aggroing them both. Okay, I don't think that guy will see me. Let's start with this guy. We might need to do some extra damage here to one-shot him. Yeah, there we go. I just don't want 2 of them throwing cairns down. I remember having a fight with Quintessence last. It was the time, and if you go back, there are some videos, I don't know which episode, but there's a video where I had it on ×2, or 3, maybe? I had +2 ×2, I think, and I dropped it back down. And the reason was these guys. I was fighting Devouring Earth, and I ended up in a spawn with like 2 sentries and a guy that dropped a quartz. And I just couldn't get them to stop dropping it, and it was just such a pain. I defeated them, but it took me like 10 minutes just to fight in one room. And I was like, okay, this isn't fun, right? This is just going to make it take forever. So I went back down to ×1. I'd rather fight higher level guys than end up fighting like 4 quartzes. No thanks. Four guys that put quartz out. That can't remember the name of the guy that does it. The Sardonyx or whatever. Oh, this might be the end of this mission. Faster than I thought. Let's see, what do we got here? We got mostly oranges. No annoying sentries or anything. Alright, then we'll start with the most annoying guy, which is the bedrock. And once he's gone, we don't have to really worry about this stuff. Oh, I will say one thing I hate about them is getting surrounded by these tall guys. Because I can't see anything. So one definite advantage to somebody like a blaster. Whoa, whoa. One definite advantage to somebody like a blaster or a defender is that they can stay at a distance and that the height of these guys doesn't become a problem. So the main problem with these guys, the runners, is we have to defeat them all. It's a defeat all mission, so we can't let them get away. It's a good thing I didn't aggro these guys. Most of that problem was the height of these guys and trying to be able to see what I'm doing. Because I was targeting guys, I couldn't tell who I had targeted because there was all these giant guys, and I couldn't tell who had the targeting reticle around them. But we survived it, no problem. And now I'm going to remember to go to the base and put those bigger inspirations away and replace them with the smaller ones in case we need it at some point. I don't think we're going to need giant inspirations against Devoured, which are the bad guys, even the greater Devoureds. They're just not that dangerous. They're not like the Envoy of Shadows. He's much worse. So we're going to put the bigger ones away for future use. Maybe even for a future character to use. And we'll go get the small ones. I really like having my own base. You couldn't do this in the old days. You wouldn't have been able to because you had to spend like A base this size would have cost huge amounts of prestige, and you wouldn't be able to earn enough prestige to do it. But they took all of that off for Homecoming, so um, there's no prestige to spend. Okay, so we have another Terra Conspiracy mission coming, but I'm going to go ahead and do that next time, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. We're level 39 now. We'll finish the Terra Conspiracy, and then I'll probably stop filming until we get to level 40, and we can start doing our level 40 contacts. And then we're going to probably be spending a lot of time on Peregrine Island, because that's where level 40 to 50 stuff is given. Until next time, I am Scrapper Lock, and this has been Soloing the Scrapper, or Stalker. Soloing the Stalker on City of Heroes.